Sir, we are live, sir.
Okay. Can you please host me back? Okay. Guys, good evening. Let me share my screen. So, hi guys, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to our Angular training session. And today we are going to discuss about strings and string methods. Since we had a discussion with respect to strings and string methods yesterday, I would like to give more examples with respect to string and string methods. So, let us open our exercise. Hope you people are able to see my screen. Now let me explain about string and string methods. Guys, yesterday we had a discussion with respect to what are the methods which are there in strings in JavaScript. So JavaScript also has a lot of methods which are related to a string to perform some operations. Instead of writing a code from the scratch, you can also keep writing and making use of existing methods which are there in JavaScript to make use of those methods, and we can able to complete it. Now, among all these methods, let me keep explaining about each one of them. So index of. So this index of method returns the first occurrence of a given character. It is going to find out a method and it returns the first occurrence of given character. It returns first occurrence of given character. So whereas coming to last index of returns last occurrence of given character. Next, character coded returns character caret. It is not charted caret. So it is going to return character so index of, however, it is returning first occurrence of a given character. If you pass an index, it is going to return a character which is there inside that index. Whereas coming to character, if you pass character, it is going to return so which is going to return the value of that particular position. Now index of, if you pass a character, it is going to give you the index position. Here if you pass index, it will give you the character, returns the character on a specific position. Character on the specified position. So guys, even let me keep writing one simple exercise. And if you guys are, if you know the basics of string, so let me see here, the string behind the scenes, it is going to store in a data structure like this. For example, if I am using XLR, E, X, C, E, L, R. So in the memory, each and every character is going to store in this fashion. Now the first character is associated with first index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, so this index of method returns the first occurrence of a given character. So I'm just giving an example for index of. If you think that this is a variable where company is equal to, if I'm storing XLR, kindly understand. So behind the scenes in a memory, the XLR string is going to store in this particular fashion. Next, so if you are giving, for example, now my variable name is company. If I'm using company dot index of, O should be capital letter, index of. Here if I am passing, for example, if I pass E XLR, if I am passing capital E, it is going to give the index of a particular character. Now if you try to look after my exercise, now my variable company holds information about XLR, EXELR. Now E is in a two different indexes. E is available inside a memory. Now 0th index also E character is there, and third index also E character is there. But index of method returns always first occurrence of a given character. Now the first occurrence is 0, it always returns 0. The index is 0. Next guys, last index of. If you are going for company dot last index of, O capital letter, here if I try to pass character E, what happens? It is going to give last occurrence, that is 3. Now character at, if I am using company that character at specific position guys. Now so far for this index of, we have passed as a character as a parameter. For last index also we have passed as a character as a parameter. But whereas coming to character at, we are passing index. If I pass index 2, what is the character which is inside this 2 is the 2 index is associated with character C, which is going to return C. That is what the character at, it returns always a character at a specified position, whereas coming to character coded, company dot character code at. Now if I give 2, position 2, now the ASCII code of C, ASCII code of C, the character C value it is going to return. If you guys are good at ASCII table, now 65 starts, capital A starts from 65. I think 91 or 93, I don't know, small a is going to start. Now the character code always returns the ASCII code of a respective character at a passed position. So for this character code at, you have to pass index as a parameter, whereas coming to index of and last index of, you have to pass character as a parameter. Hope you people are aware of it. Now each method in JavaScript, these guys are predefined. You guys are always, you should know how are we going to use these methods. Now yesterday some people asked me about the differences between substr and substring. So I will try to give you an example for few methods. Now I hope I already given examples for 4 methods. Next, let me clear it. Now since my variable name is where company is equal to XLR, small letters I am giving. Now let me go for a capital letters. Now, so 0th index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Guys, in case if any empty spaces are there in the beginning of a string or ending of a string, if you wanted to remove the white spaces, now this trim method removes white spaces. Trim method removes white spaces. From a string. Whereas coming to character coded, returns ASCII code value of a specified position. Now split method. Now, so the split method is going to divide your string into array. It is going to convert your string into an array. It will try to divide wherever the delimiter available in split methods converts your string into an array. So this is very important method, my dear friends. Now, so let me give an example. I'm going to give an example for a split method. For example, if your string has, even if you come back, my course name. Now under this course name, inside my string, let me see here. Now some white spaces are there. Now the moment when you are printing console.log, the number of characters, course name dot length. If I print this result, length, now let me go and execute this file and see the number of characters which are there in your course name. Go back to your developer tool and open console.log. You will be able to see that there is 34 characters are there. Now let me print this course name in my web page. To print that course name, and I'm going to use document.write is a method. So here I'm going to print the h1, concatenating with my course name and concatenating again h1 close. This is how I'm just using HTML inside my JavaScript. Now if I'll execute it, now you see free Angular training program. Now when we see in HTML, HTML ignores white spaces. HTML ignore white spaces, my dear friends. Even though in a string you can see that there are n number of white spaces are there, 5 white spaces, but when we are displaying inside a body, all the 5 white spaces are ignored by HTML during the execution of a program. But JavaScript is still calculating the number of characters which are there in my course name. That's why 34 characters it gave. But if you count, so free 4 space 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 23, 26, 27 only there. But still the white spaces is also calculating. In case sometimes the white spaces in the beginning of a string and ending of a string, if I don't want, then I can go for trim method. If I use that trim, I'm using trim method. That then after trim, then I'm going to check the length. Now instead of 34, you can see that 29. If you are not using a trim method, the white spaces will also calculate in the number of characters, 38 characters. Hope you people are aware of it, how these string methods are going to be used. That's my point. Okay, next what I'm trying to explain. Now trim method is going to remove a white spaces from the beginning of a string and ending of a string. Similarly, Now console.log course name dot trim. Then finally we are going to use length. Nine characters. The trim method is over. Then let me go for split method. As I already said, split is the one which is going to convert your string into an array. Now you see here, course name is my string. Dot split. Split is going to divide your string into an array. Now wherever you have to pass a delimiter as a parameter to your split function. Split, you have to give some delimiter. Delimiter is nothing but a special character which is inside your string from where you are planning to divide your string. That is what this delimiter is all about. Now I am just giving space. So wherever the space identifies inside your string, the split method is going to divide. Now line number 47, if you go and execute it, you can see that your string is completely converted into array. That is what line number 47, wherever it identifies the space, that string is divided into an array. Now here, since white spaces are there, then let me remove white spaces and try to check. Now see, right after free there is a white space. Right after Angular there is a white space. Right after training there is a white space. Since the white space is a delimiter, you have passed as a parameter to your split method. It started, dividing your string. In case, for example, if I have only some @, think that some @ inside my string. Wherever that @ is identified, if I would like to divide my string at @, then I'm going to use @ as a delimiter. Now, before @ it is taking it as array of 0. After @ it is taking it as array of 1. And here, you can, when you are going for interviews, people will also ask how are we going to convert string into an array. To do so, we have to use split method. Split method is going to divide your string into an array by taking delimiter as a parameter. Next, let me talk about substring and substr. Guys, this substr and substring, these guys are string extraction techniques. My string is free @Angular training program. This is such a bigger string. In that case, I would like to extract only Angular keyword from my string. If that is the case, I am going to use substring or substr. Let me use an example. Console.log course name is my string dot substr. Now from string, so from index, now f starts with 0, 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5. From fifth index, comma, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 plus 1, I'm going to use 12. So let me try to use from fifth index to 12. Then it is going to fetch. We can even see that this substr, the second parameter is the number of characters, guys. Now I'm going to use substring. See the difference between each one of them. One guy is giving, now this substring, when we are passing two parameters, the parameter 1 is from index, parameter 2 is to index. Whereas coming to substr, the parameter 1 is from index, parameter 2 is the number of characters from the from index. I mean to say, from fifth index, I am planning to fetch 12 characters. I mean to say, this is fifth index. A is a fifth index. From here, 12 characters that we are going to fetch. That is what this substr says. Whereas coming to substring, from fifth index to index minus 1, 12 minus 1. From fifth index to index minus 1. I hope you people are understanding what I am trying to explain. Now, this is how the difference between from, substring and substr. Both of them are extraction techniques, but one guy collects from index and to index. It is going to fetch the characters between this from and to. Another guy extracts from index followed by number of characters that you have passed as second parameter. That's all the differences. Next, replace. Guys, listen carefully. Console.log. I'm just giving an example for replace. Course name is my array that replace. And when you are planning to replace, we have to identify. No, let me try free at the rate. Free at the rate. We are checking and we are removing with empty. Now you can see that it is free at the rate. Wherever it identifies free at the rate, it has removed. Once it is removed, now you guys, right after that, please try to write a document, right? Course name. For the same, I can even write lesser than h1 plus. I'm also concatenating my h1 tag. So I have to put, instead of console.log, let me put it in document.write. Now it is identified wherever the free at the rate and it has replaced with empty. That is what I have used, combination of multiple methods here. Document.write is also predefined method and string name.replace is also predefined method. In replace, the first parameter is the one to whom you are planning to replace within your string, and the second one, what you are going to replace if old string and new string. I hope you people are aware of it. Can you all hear me? Himawant? Hello? Himawant, can you hear me? Is my voice is clear? Okay, next method. Let me start giving an example for search. So search is also sounds like index of bus, but the only difference between index of and search is search will also accept regular expressions also as a parameter. Using regular pattern match, you can also use patterns to search a string. And you people try to write an example for search, and even let me keep writing an example for concat, even two uppercase and two lowercase, which is very simple. So I don't want to write an example for this two uppercase and two lowercase. Now I'm going to give an example for concat. Concatenation is something like, if you have multiple strings, if you wanted to concatenate multiple strings into single string, that is where we are going to use concatenation. So now document.write, I am planning to print that concatenated values into document, and I am just giving h2 plus here you see here course name is one of a string plus concatenating either dot concat. I can use plus or I can also use concat. I can pass different variables like duration of a course, comma, trainer name. this multiple strings that I can pass. Now go and execute it. Now you see here free Angular training program 40 hours Murli Pagdala. Now if you would like to give a space between each one of them, then second parameter I can pass one more parameter as empty, and here also one more parameter that I can pass it as empty. Now the concatenation is going to take multiple parameters. Now you can see that there is a gap between each one of the string. Now concat is a function which collects multiple strings, empty string and variable which has a string value, and again empty string and the variable which has a string. Now here we have passed 1, 2, 3 and 4 parameters, and all these 4 parameters are strings, and those guys are concatenating with the main string which is course name. Either you can use concat or you can also go for plus operator to do concatenation. Okay, so the remaining other methods you please try to understand, and I think almost all the methods which I have executed. Next I would like to move on to arrays. Guys, string and arrays, these guys are one of the storage technique. Either you can go for string to storage or you can also use arrays. But what is the difference between string and array? Array is a collection, whereas coming to the string is a sequence of characters. So if you are planning to store single bit of character, or I mean to say a single value, then better to define as a string. And if you are planning to store multiple values, better to define as arrays. Now how are we going to create an array? What are the methods, different methods which are there in array? That is what I would like to explain in this session. Let me save one file, arrays and their methods. Arrays and methods. .html. Within this I am going to explain about array concept. In other languages, arrays is also called as collection. Guys, listen carefully. I am writing script, internal JavaScript. To create array, first let me give what is array is all about. To store information in a continuous fashion, or you can also give it is a continuous memory allocation of same type, same or different type. So continuous memory allocation of same or different type. Since JavaScript is loosely coupled language, you can also allocate a different type of data or same type of data into arrays. Now how are we going to define? How to create array? We can create arrays by using two ways. We can create arrays using two different ways. One is array literal. Second one is array constructor. Now, example for array literal. I'm just giving an example for array literal. So if you ask me, first of all, a continuous memory allocation. Now, where students equal to, I'd like to create, this is literal. Array represents by square brackets. Many of the programming language, wherever that array, if you guys are defining, it represents by square brackets. Now, the number of values. Now you see here, Sachin. Just an example. Sachin, Dravid, Saurav, Just few examples I'm giving, Lakshman. Now it's a continuous memory allocation of same type here. And Lakshman is also string. Hope you people are aware of it. Next, either using literal way also you can create, or also go for constructor way. Now example for constructor, where courses, technologies I can say, equal to new of ARRAY, capital ARRAY. Here I can even pass multiple like HTML, second value CSS, third JavaScript, fourth Angular. Just an example I'm just giving. Either these two ways we can create a array, but the recommended way is literal. See, array literal, string literal, all these guys are very simple to declare arrays. And generally, see, if you are using constructor way of creating an array, what happens, it will try to take a lot of time to process behind the scenes. And if you are a good programmer, you should not even keep writing a code which is executing a lot more time. That's why we should always write optimized code. So that is the reason, my dear friends, you should always go for a recommended way of declaring an array or a string or object or a function. Now, since array literal execute faster than array constructor, better to use array literal. Now, these arrays, we have to store them in order to store multiple values into a single variable. That is where we are going to use array. When we are storing, we should also aware how are we going to retrieve the values from an array. So if you guys are saving amount into your bank, you should also know how to retrieve the amount to make use of that money. If you don't know how to make use of that money, if you don't know how to withdraw from your bank account, useless of saving that data into a bank. Similarly, when you guys are working on a project, make sure that you have to use some storage techniques in order to store the information. Why we should store? In order to use them again while building a business logic. Now the storage technique is done. Now how are we going to retrieve? This is what the fundamentals, if you guys are aware. Now I'm explaining all the foundation level of knowledge. Once you are good at foundation level, I will be able to drive you into a project. We have already created one small project, and if you are good at fundamentals, then if I try to write an examples in my project, it will be easier for you to follow. That's why, my dear friends, kindly understand the fundamentals. Those who are good at foundation, it will be easier for you to keep moving ahead to understand intermediate and advanced concepts. Now, how to retrieve values from an array? Now, if you ask me, see, guys, listen, and those who are not from a computer science background, now, even behind the scenes, in the memory allocation, the values which are there in array is going to store in a stack order. Now Sachin value is going to store in a first index, and Dravid value is storing in second index. Next, Saurav. Next, Lakshman. Now, in case if any other information is there, now you see here last in. This is last in, first out. That's why array will always follow the stack mechanism. Kindly recollect your engineering data. Array follows stack mechanism. So last in, first out. LIFO. Whereas coming to the Q, now if you try to see this, now first in, first out, FIFO. This is an example for Q. Q. Stack order. Now array follows stack order. Guys, now let me see here. When you guys are storing a data in a stack, you should also aware how are you going to retrieve, and you should also know how to manipulate array. Manipulation of an array is nothing but either adding a new values or updating existing values or deleting a existing values. These are the things that we're supposed to do when we are working on real-time application. How are we going to do operations? Now, instead of explaining how are we going to do, now first let me finish up how to retrieve values from an array. Now each index, now array, each value is associated with the index. Those indexes are numbers. That's why we can call named indexes. Sorry, it is numeric index, because each value is mapped with number indexes. That is where we can also call this as number indexes. And also, in case if the indexes are names, that is called object in JavaScript. In other languages, we can also call them as associative arrays. But in JavaScript, if the indexes are named indexes, we can call it as an object. Object, I'll try to keep it aside. I don't want to mess by explaining both of them in this same example. Now you see here, if you are keep explaining, if you keep understanding, now Sachin is mapped with 0 index. Dravid is mapped for 1, 2, 3, so on. Now see, this is push. If you are pushing a new one or multiple values into an array, which is always push the, this is going to insert a new values at the end of the array. Whereas coming to the pop, pop is going to remove last element. Always it performs at last position of an array. In case if you guys would like to do operations in pushing in the beginning of an array, then you have to go for unshift. Unshift is one of the method. This method is going to push either single or multiple items into an array at the beginning of a beginning position. Whereas coming to shift, shift is another method which is going to pop out, delete an element from the beginning of an array. Now unshift and shift, these guys are going to perform in the beginning of an array. Push and pop is going to perform their operations at the end of an array. Now sometimes if you would like to do any operations in between, then you must have to go for a splice. Splice is an example. The splice method is going to give an example. It is going to do an operations at any position. It's not only in the beginning or ending, but also it can even perform at any position. So I'll try to give an example for each one of them, my dear friends. And there is one more method, the extraction technique. However, string also has extracting techniques, substr and substring. Now array also has some extracting technique, that is slice. The slice method is an example for extracting a couple of values from a bigger array. Now splice is for adding or deleting values from an array. Slice is for extracting a portion of an array from a bigger array. Don't get confused about splice and slice. Now if you ask me what are the methods, now let me list out all the methods which are there. Push, since it is a method. Pop, unshift, shift, fifth method, slice, sixth method, splice. Now among all this, there is one more seventh method, sort. Frequently used methods. Since it is a crash course, I don't want to explain about unwanted items here. I would like to talk about only wanted items. Okay. Next, guys, let me clear. Okay. Next, how we are going to retrieve values. To do that, console.log. Let me print the results inside a log. Array. My array is student. Student are technologies. Students of. Array represents with square brackets and index. Now, if I pass 6, what will be the output? Can you guys tell me what will be the output? Is there any sixth index inside my array? If the sixth index is not there, which is going to give undefined as output. So if you execute it, go back to your browser and reload. Line number 29. Now you must have to execute this in a browser and inspect and try to check in console tab. Undefined. Why? Because now my array contains only 4 elements. Since it is started from 0 index, 0, 1, 2 and 3. Since 6 is not there, it is going to give undefined. If I'll give third index, it will try to fetch Laxman as a value. Hope you understand. So either you can even read a single value from an array, or if you wanted to read multiple values from an array, then you have to use loops. Okay, guys. So now how to retrieve values from an array? Either you can use their static indexes, or you can also use loops to read the values. Okay. Now you see here, if you wanted to read all the values, if 4 values are there, 4 lines. Now write from 0, 1, 2, 3. Like that, you have to use 4 lines of code that you have to write to read all the values from an array. Think that if your array size increases to 100, are you going to use 100 lines of code to retrieve all 100 values from an array? If you are writing such kind of code, I am sure you are not a good developer. Then in such cases, you must have to go for loops. Since we had a discussion about loops in the previous session, how are we going to use loops in order to retrieve values from an array? That is what you must have to use it. Now for loop I am using, guys, as I already said yesterday, if you can predict the number of times that your loop is going to execute, in such cases you must have to go for loop. If you don't know how many times that loop is going to execute, you can't even predict the number of times, then you better to go for while. Do while, even if the condition is wrong, if you want to execute some set of statements even at least once, then go for do while. Now in our case, since I know how many times that loop is going to execute. Why? Because I am playing with my predictive array. My array length I know. Since array length I know, I can use for loop to read a values from an array. Now see the syntax of for loop where initializer I is equal to, let us start with 0. Why? Because the indexes always starts from 0, and I less than the condition. Guys, you should not even use static condition. You should always use students dot length. This is a property which returns the number of values which are there in array. Then I plus plus. Next, so here console.log. Let me print console.log. Students of I value, and each iteration I is going to increment, so that tomorrow no matter, see, now if any new additional value comes into your picture. Now if I'm giving only my name, if I'm trying to add one more name, now this loop is going to execute. But whereas coming to normal manual way of reading values from an array, those guys are not printing. Why? Because since you have not referred the 4th index, if you wanted to read a 5th value, you have to use array of 4th index. Since every time if the new value added into our array, again you have to keep adding one more line of a code. So that is a wrong approach. So to avoid this kind of unwanted code, then we should always go for loop approach. Okay, I hope you understand how are we going to retrieve values from an array. Then array methods. Let me list out all the methods. Array methods. So since I listed out push method, push either single or multiple items that you wanted to push at a last of an array, then push, and to delete last element, pop, to insert fresh items into your beginning, then you have to go for unshift, to delete items from beginning, item, not items, then shift, to extract a portion of array, slice. Splice is the one which is going to be used to add new elements or deleting existing elements. Both adding and deletion that can be possible by using splice. Okay. Next, sort, which is going to sort an array. Now this array map, array filter, these guys are ES6 methods that we'll try to discuss later. Okay, these are the methods which we frequently used in JavaScript. Now out of all this, I would like to give an example for only splice. Remaining all methods, you please try to write an example, my dear friends. This is straightforward methods. Now splice is the one which has some different logic. Now let me give an example for splice. As I already said, splice is a method where it will try to allow developer to add or delete either single or multiple values from an array at any point of position, any position. So now let me see. Now my array, student array, consists of 5 values. Now what I'm going to do, let me see here, students, I'm just checking students dot splice. I'm going to add 2 elements. From second position, let me add 3 values. Over there, I'm going to add AAA, comma, BBB, comma, CCC. These 3 values I would like to add. Now, right after that, try to print. Once the new values added into an array, try to print your array into console. Console.log. After making some additional values, try to print your array. So you check what is the second index. Now if you go back to your original array, 0, 1 and 2. Second index is Saurav. So from in the Saurav position, it is going to add 3 elements. Sorry, the second parameter is the one which is going to decide how many values that we are going to delete. Second parameter decides how many values that we are going to delete. Now from second index, 3 values that we are going to delete, and we are going to add other values. Now 4 values that we are adding. 3 values we are deleting from second index, and 4 values we are adding it. So that if you see 0, 1, 2, from second index 3 values. Saurav, Lakshman, Murli, all 3 members are going to delete, and 4 members AA, BBB, CCC, DDD is going to add. Now go and reload and check. Your array consists of C. Sachin, Dravid, and Saurav and other people, Lakshman and Murli is deleted. In the place of those, the 4 additional elements have been added. Now you see here the splice method is allowing developer to delete the existing values, and parallelly it is allowing developer to add new values. This is what the second parameter plays very, very important role here. It is going to decide how many number of values that you are planning to delete. Or now one more I will try to give. Let me copy paste. Now from a third index, I'm just giving, for example, here from fourth index, without deleting any. 0 means without deleting any. I'm going to use, let me use small a, small bbb, small ccc, just without deleting. From fourth index, without deleting, and we are going to add additional 3 values. After that, if you try to print your students, Now go and check. From fourth index, you see here 3 values have been added. Then it is not even deleted. Now earlier the length of an array is 6. After adding 3 more, then it will become 9. Hope you understand how are we going to use splice method. Any confusions here? Splice is the one which is going to perform all 4 methods which we discussed here: push, pop, unshift and shift. Next, slice method. As I already said, array extraction. Console.log. I am using console.log always to print the results in console tab to see the output. Either you can even print them inside a document, or you can also print them in alert, or you can also print them in console.log. Since console.log is easy for us to log all the data into a developer tool. Okay, next guys, students is my array. Since 9 elements are there, slice from fourth, third, second index 6. The difference between 2 to 4 is 2 to 6 is 4, and we are going to fetch only 4 items. Now if you go and reload, students is students, because my array name is students, I am referring student, that's why it is giving an error, reference error. Now you see here, now this slice method is also returning a new array. Slice method is returning new array. When it is starting extracting, it will extract a portion of an array. It will also return a new array by extracted values. Okay guys, and sort method. So let me give an example for sort method. Students.sort. You don't need to pass any parameters. And few methods you have to pass parameters, few methods you don't need to pass parameters. Now when you are giving AAA, BBB, CCC, Dravid, AA, see, now completely the array is sorted based upon their values. This is all about sorting will help us to sort array based upon their values. Now string is also one way of storing information. Even array also another way of storing information. The difference between string and array: string stores a single value, array stores multiple values. It sounds like when you people are going for college, so maybe you are going to take one bag, maybe 2 to 3 notebooks that you are going to use it. In case if you are traveling back to your hostel, maybe if you are staying in a hostel, all the books you have to carry to your hostel. So in that case, the small bag if you take, you may not able to handle all the books. In such case, the container size that you must supposed to increase. Similarly, if you are planning to store a single bit of information, go for a string. If you are planning to store a collection, a group of values into a single variable, better to go for an array. Every concept is very, very important. Okay, that's all about arrays. Next, what I'm going to do, I'm going to explain about functions, guys. So far we discussed about arrays and array methods, strings and string methods. Now let me talk about functions and their usage. It is very, very important session. Let me create one example: functions in javascript.html. In every programming language or a scripting language, functions plays very important role. Functions, see, it is set of instructions or set of statements. Those statements are going to perform a specific task. So in another way, function is a subroutine which is going to perform a specific task. Why do we create a functions? Now if you ask me the methods, all the methods, this is why we are calling these guys as a methods, because these methods are already associated with the array object. These guys are not individual functions. Now, if you create a method using a function keyword individually, then that is called as a function. A method which is inside a class or inside an object, both of them are functional wise, both of them are same. Even function also perform a specific task, even method also perform a specific task. Okay. Next, my dear friends, I would like to explain how are we going to create a custom functions. Sometimes JavaScript also given a bunch of functions, but those guys are not fulfilling our need. If you wanted to create our own function to implement a different sort of functionality into our web page, that is where functions comes into your picture. How are we going to build functions? Guys, it is very simple. Like other programming languages, even in JavaScript also, functions can be created by using a function keyword. First, let me give a definition of what is function. It is a set of statements can perform a specific task. So why we have to create functions? For code reusability. The main purpose of creating a function is is to reuse the code. This is very, very important, usage. Now, how many ways that we can create? How many ways? Ask me, there are many. First, a function without argument. Function without argument. Without parameters or argument. Parameters. A function without parameters. A function with parameters. Function with parameters. A function with return statement. Function with return statement. Next, a function with default parameters. Next, named functions and variable functions, anonymous functions, callback functions, self-invoking functions. These are the different types of functions are there in JavaScript. Self-invoking, nested functions. Function inside another function. If you are calling, then it's called nested. And immediate invocation functions, self-invoking and immediate invocation, IIFE, which is also called as IIFE, immediate invocation function expression, or IIFA, immediate invocation function annotation, nested functions. Next, recursive functions. This is all about different ways of creating a functions in JavaScript. Now let me talk about each one of them. How to create functions generally. Example for function without a parameter. Function without params. For this, guys, listen carefully. I'm just printing a normal generic function followed by adding two numbers. See here, function followed by function name, function brackets, and function body. Now this is a definition of a function. If you ask me, this is definition of function. Function is a keyword which will help us to define a function, followed by function name. Here, whatever the rules and regulations that I explained during the identifier creation. The rule number 1, identifier name should not be a reserved word. Rule number 2, identifier name should not start with the numbers. Rule number 3, identifier name should not contain any special characters other than underscore and dollar. Same it applies when it comes to function names. Even function name is also identifier. Okay, so once you create a function, we should also, function, as I already said, it is set of statements. Those guys are going to execute some set of to perform a specific operation. Add. Let me create here, to add two numbers, I have to define the numbers where a comma b comma c, all the declaration, every variable that we are declaring here. Okay, so the variables are declaring, and I'm going to assign a values. A value, a is equal to 20, comma b is equal to 30. I'm assigning a value. This is proper indentation that I'm using. At last, the c value, I'm writing a logic. C is equal to a plus b. Now let me print the result. Console.log. The result, since it is stored in C, I would like to print that result in console.log tab. Now, if you go and reload the functions, I would like to execute this method. Let me execute functions file, open in a browser. If you go and inspect in a console, you try to see the output. Now output is not coming. Why? Because you have defined a function, nowhere you haven't called a function. Guys, here, important point to remember. The moment when you define a function, if you're not calling that function, function does nothing. It sounds like you have purchased a TV, but you have not installed the TV. See, similarly, you created a function to perform a specific task, but you are not triggering or calling or invoking. You are not even doing all these actions. How are you going to do the function calling or invoking or triggering? These are the different synonyms. Triggering. Next. So for this example, function name followed by function brackets. If the definition of a function expects any parameter, while calling you have to pass as a value, call by value. Now my definition is expecting 0 parameters. While calling also you can pass 0 params. Now if you go and execute, you can see the result of C value 50 is storing inside console. Guys, now those who are extremely freshers, for them, let me explain how these functions are going to execute. So now functions, this function is a procedure-oriented concept. Functions are procedure-oriented concepts. So always, guys, listen carefully. The moment when JavaScript executes, it will come back to when you are calling a function. This is where the parser is going to call this. Once it is calling, it will go back to a definition of a function. In the definition, First, this is called as declaration. We are declaring all the variable. Then this is called assignment. This is where we are writing a logic. Finally, we are printing output. Printing output. This is what I explained. There are 4 steps. Every program, not only JavaScript, if you go to Java, .NET, PHP, Python, everywhere. So same, first step number 1, declaration. Step number 2 is assignment. Step number 3 is logic. At last, we have to print the result. These are the steps that you guys have to implement it. Okay, now you see here that equal to is a assignment operator. Equal to is assignment. Plus is a additional operator. I mean to say arithmetic operator. Operators. This is a single line declaration. And this is single line assignment. And the result, see. Now, a good developers always the declaration is at one place, assignment is at one place, and the logic at one place, so that anybody can easily understand your code. Readability, understandability, complexity, all these guys are design patterns, design principles. Make sure that if you write a code, anybody must be in a position to read your code and they can easily understand what is your code is all about. If you are writing a code that can be understandable by you, and I do have one friend in my MCA, guys, I could remember his, so he's my roommate for almost 3 years. And see, if it is a white paper, I'm just remembering him, and he will start writing some Urdu letters, something like that. He will be keep writing. No one understand what he has written in a paper. Only he will be able to understand. One day, what happened, so linked list. So when we are there in MCA, and one of a lecturer is conducted an exam that is related to data structures. In that, he has given some 2 to 3 questions. Out of 2 to 3 questions, he has attempted all 3 questions, but my lecturer tried to read whatever the data that he has written in a paper, but he failed to read it. Since he was not able to read the content which is there inside our answer sheet, and he has not even corrected his paper, he took his paper into classroom and he started, reading it from different students. But many of them are started failing to read. But at last, that lecturer asked the candidate to read the data, and he is reading this Urdu letters also, because that is English. He know very well about his handwriting. He was keep reading all the content, but other people are failed to read. Please do not ever try to write such kind of code. Why? Because, sir, in software companies, everybody has to follow the global standards. Why? Because nobody is going to work in a project from beginning level to the ending level. So even IT jobs are not permanent jobs. Think that, okay, today I am working on a company. If I'll try to write a complicated logic which is not global standards, tomorrow if I'm not there in that company, if my code would like to read by someone else, if it is difficult for them to understand, then ultimately they have to spend too many hours of time to understand the code. So if you are writing such kind of complexity code, it will be a trouble for a company. That's why there will be a code review team. They are always reading and reviewing your code. If you are not writing up to the global standards, they won't even approve your code. The review team is nothing but your seniors only are reviewing your code. That's okay. Now let us come back. Function with parameters. Without parameters is over. Now let me keep explaining. One more example. Function with parameters. Function with params. Let me go for function subtractor. Subtract. Simple examples I am taking. Here a comma b, 2 values I am passing. Whatever the parameters that you are passing, those parameters are available locally to that function. If you try to access them outside of a function, you can't even access it. Where result is equal to A minus B. You don't need to declare this A and B. Why? Because these guys are parameters. While calling a function, as I already discussed, if calling, if the function definition expects parameters, while calling, you people have to pass parameters by value. Now A and B we have to pass as value. A value I am just passing 40 and B value I am passing 30. Then at last, if you try to execute it, guys listen carefully, you won't even get any output in a console. Just 50 only it is printing. Why? Because now you see here you are calling a function, it will go to the definition. The result is stored inside a R variable. But did you manage to print R variable anywhere? No. Since you have not print R variable, it won't even print. So let me print that in a console.log. Every line of code that you have to write it. Now see this add. If you keep calling multiple times, 4 times I called, all 4 times, which is giving the same output. But when it comes to function with parameters, if I am passing 400 minus 300 and 4000 minus 3000 and 40,000 minus 30,000, by passing different parameters, you will be able to get different output. I hope you understand. This is what you guys have to decide when you are writing a program, whether you want to go for a function with parameters or without parameters. According to your requirements, you have to decide. Got it? What is the word name?
Sir, I came for inquiry.
Just give me 1 minute. Just give me 1 minute after. So if you wanted to, yeah, guys, I'm there. Okay, so now you try to see. I have given an example, a function with parameters. Now the disadvantages of going for function without parameters is, even if you are calling function multiple times, the function is going to give same output. So why are we going to call a function multiple times if you are expecting a same output? That is where a function with parameters will be helpful for us in many cases while working on real-time applications. Next, what I'm trying to explain, function with return statement. Let me give an example for function with return statement. Function with return statement. This is also very important in case while creating a function, if you are expecting output to be returned to a calling function, that is where function with return statement comes into picture. Now, many cases, even in the previous example I have used array slice method. This slice method returns array, and which is extracting array from a specific index, and it returns a new array. Similarly, when you are creating your own function, if you are planning to return an output, for example, guys, listen carefully. Convert string into uppercase, one function, uppercase string, or else I'm just giving uppercase string. This is one of the function that I am creating. So here what I'm going to do, let me pass my string str as a parameter. Str is a parameter. Now return, I'm planning to return the output. Now str dot to uppercase. So this is one of the predefined method, right? To uppercase is a string method. Now whoever is calling uppercase str, guys, listen carefully. When you are coming back, uppercase str followed by parameter. Now here you have to pass, for example, if I try to pass XLR, all small letters I am passing, and since my uppercase str is returning output, the returned output that you have to store in a local variable, or you have to directly print that into a console.log. If you are not capturing that information or catching that information, it won't even help. Hope you understand. Now go back and reload it. Now you see that small case is converted into uppercase. Now it started returning. The return statement is there. This is how function with return statement will work. If you are passing any string, no matter if I try to pass my name, it is going to convert into uppercase letters. Okay. Next example, function with the default parameters. So let me give an example for function with the default parameters. Function followed by function name, GST calculation. Here, amount, comma, GST percent is equal to, by default I am just giving 18%. Internally I am just using return statement. Amount, I am calculating including GST value. Amount plus, let me open expression, amount star GST percentage division 100. This is what including GST. Now when we are calling a function GST calc, let me pass up amount. Now I am passing 1000. Then second parameter, since we are not passing, if you are not passing second parameter, and the second parameter value, it will take it from default, then 18%. For 1000, 18% is 180. Now the total amount is 1180. In case, guys, listen carefully. If you are passing, for example, 1000, 50% GST. For 1000 rupees, 50% GST is 500. The total amount including GST is 1500. Hope you people are able to understand. Now you see here function with a default parameter. Sometimes if you don't want a default value, don't go for a default parameters. If you want a default value to be calculated for us, when you are calculating some sort of expressions, if you are evaluating, if you need some default value, even if you are not passing that default value as a second parameter while calling, in such scenarios we may need default. Now you see here while calling, the function definition expects two parameters. Among two, second one is optional. It is mandatory only, but so it sounds like optional. Why? Because while calling, if you pass first, second parameter, if you're not passing, second parameter value it considered as default value, and default value is going to consider into calculations. I hope you understand. Whereas coming to the 74, when you are calling a function, the second parameter is always considered to GST percentage. Now 18 is going to overwritten with 50. Now go on below. You can see that now you have to print, because this is returning output. The returned output, if you are not printing them in console, and you can't even capture that value, it's better to print that in a console.log. Now 1180, 1500. In case, guys, listen carefully. If you are not passing any, listen carefully. The first parameter also you are not passing, second parameter is also if you are not passing. What is output? That is what you must have to check. If that is the case, amount will become undefined. GST percentage, anyhow you are not passing, it will try to take default value 80, but amount is undefined. As I already said, if you guys are passing undefined as a value for your parameter, now when you are passing undefined, if you are not passing also, it will consider as undefined. Why? Because the variable is declared, the parameters are locally available to your function, but it is not assigned with any value. Why? Because when you are calling a function, the function is not passing any parameters. In such cases, all the parameters will become undefined. But when it comes to default parameters, since it is undefined, it will consider default value, but amount is undefined. So undefined values, if you are doing arithmetic operations, JavaScript returns NaN, N-A-N, not a number. So this is very, very important question interviews the people are going to ask. Okay. Next, named functions. See, all the functions so far, whatever we created, we have defined our own name. This is what named functions. No need to separate examples we don't want to discuss. Then variable functions. Guys, in JavaScript, you can also assign a function to a variable that is called as variable function. Now, let me see here where multiply is equal to anonymous function, a function without a name. I'm giving an example also for anonymous function. If I assign anonymous function to a variable, now this variable is going to act as a function here. Now you see here I am passing multiplication of some number, I am passing 2 here, x. Now here you see here return, I'm returning the result x star x. So x value we are passing x star x. Now when we are passing, for example, multiply, since it is expecting one parameter, let me pass 30. Then the output it is returning 30 into 30, then returned output that we are going to print in. Go on, execute it. Now you can see 900 it is printing. Now the variable we are using as a function, since anonymous function, and I am also giving an example for anonymous function also, guys. A function without a name is called as anonymous function. A function without a name is called as anonymous function. If you assign anonymous function to a variable, which is called variable function. Callback functions that I'll try to explain when we are explaining about form validations are events. Now self-invoking function I'm going to explain. Guys, self-invoking. So I'm giving an example for self-invoking. If the function is invokes, when the page gets loaded, if it is invoking itself, is called as self-invoking. What are we going to? Now the syntax is a little bit different. Now you see here, and I'm using two function brackets, and within first function bracket, I'm going to pass anonymous function as a parameter. This is how the syntax of self-invoking function. And if you try to see alert, I am self-invoking function. I don't need to call self-invoking function. I don't need a special calling. I am self-invoking function. See now this self-invoking function, every function whatever we created so far, everybody we are calling. But whereas coming to self-invoking function, you don't need to call them using their name. Why? Because there is no name that we are defining for self-invoking functions. We are calling these functions in a different way of writing syntaxes. This is also immediate invocation or immediate invocation function annotation or function expression. Guys, this is very, very important. These function concepts are very important in any programming, especially when it comes to JavaScript. Everywhere, in order to write functionality back to your presentation layer, you have to keep writing your own functions. That is where we must have to go for this function concept. Next, we are also talking about nested functions. If you ask me nested functions, I have already used many places. Console is a predefined object, log is a method. For this log method, again I have used one more function called multiply. You see here, multiply method, whatever it returns, it is going to give that return value as a parameter to your log method. Got my point? Now what I'm trying to explain here, if you are calling one function inside another function, that is called as nested. And recursive functions are nothing but inside a function body. If you are calling the same function definition, function again, if you are calling inside a function body, that is called recursive. Generally, recursive, for example, factorial of given number. Maybe you people would have been explained. You would have written some sort of examples in C or C++ program. Factorial of given number that can be achievable by using recursive. So let me write an example for factorial by using recursive function. So example for recursive, nested also I have already given. Example for recursive. So function followed by from factorial. This is a function name, factorial of number. Guys, listen carefully. Here you have to pass number as a parameter. Within that, I'm going to write a logic. So first, in case if the number is equal to 0, it should always return 1. It should return 1. Else, in normal cases, else we are going to call returning. So number, it should be multiplied with, again we are calling the same factorial number, and whatever the number minus 1. Why? Because it has to always minus, it has to start from, if it is 5 factorial, 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, that is what it has to give output. If the number is 0, it should 0 factorial is 1. That is what here you see. Here we are calling a function definition again and again. As long as when it reaches 0, it is going to return 1. So now if you are keep calling this function, how are we going to call? Factorial of a number. If I try to pass 5, now let me see, it is returning output, the returned output that we wanted to display it in a console. Now 120 is printing. In case if I try to give factorial of 50, factorial of 50. Hope you understand, guys. This is how the recursive functions. If the function is calling itself within the function body, this is called recursion. Now I think we almost covered all the ways of creating different ways of functions. The functions are heart of any procedure-oriented language, no matter whether it is a JavaScript or Python. So the way how are we going to define, it may vary from one language to another language, but the concepts remain same. So that's all about functions, my dear friends. And in case if the function is calling itself within a body, that is very important. If you are calling one function inside another function, that is called nested. If the function is calling itself, is called recursive. Of course, it is going to increase the time complexity. That's why we should not go for too much of recursive and too much of nested also. We should not even use it. So all these guys are decreases the page performance if you are using too much of recursive. Okay, so guys, that's all about today's session. If you have any queries with respect to the functions, feel free to ask now. And see, we are also putting a lot of efforts in order to give you some sort of training, and people are misusing it. Please do not try to misuse any opportunity. Then it will definitely creates a problem in future for all of you guys. So try to use the opportunities, my dear friends. Why? Because 2 hours we are also giving a lot of efforts we are putting, and we are getting some sort of industry level of knowledge that we are giving. If you have any questions, feel free to ask again and again. We are ready to give. But instead of asking, I saw many places people are keep worrying about attendance link. I don't know what is attendance link. And try to understand was, and if you want attendance, I can ask my team to give attendance. Understand the concept, because here one programming, if you are familiar with, it will be easier for you to understand. As I already said several times, if you wanted to get a good jobs and with good packages, try to become a developer. If you want to become a developer, programming and scripting knowledge is always important. Today we are giving a lot of efforts and we are explaining each one of them. Try to give a respect to us. And backslash is escape character for resolving the issue for apostrophe quotes appears in the single quotes. Can you please ask questions if you have any? Callbacks function I will try to explain when we are talking about events. Why? Because a callback function, if the name suggests, it is going to call a function the moment when some events are going to trigger. So some people are asking, explain nested function once. Let me explain about nested function. Guys, see, in the line number 64 and 65. So log is one method and uppercase is also another method. In one method, we are calling another function. This is called nested functions. If you are calling one function inside another function, that is called nested function. So can you please explain arrow functions? Since people are asking about arrow functions, guys, let me explain about arrow function. It is ES6 standard arrow function. So arrow functions are not a new functions, my dear friends. It is a new way of creating. Now see, everywhere we have used function keyword to create a functions. But when it comes to arrow or lambda expressions, now where, let me go for login. Login is equal to function brackets followed by function body. We are going to write arrow followed by function body. Now the function is going to expect username, comma password. Now you see here in the expression 10104, nowhere I haven't used function keyword. Without a function keyword, if you are able to create a function definition using an arrow expression, this is called arrow functions. These guys have introduced in ES6. Since someone is asked, I'm explaining. Just we are going to write here console.log. That login functionality we are going to write. Login functionality. I don't want to explain about what is login, but since only this, if you wanted to call this function, call a function login followed by function name. It is expecting two parameters, username. I am passing Murli and password, call by value, some password that I am passing. Now if you execute it, you can also see login functionality. It is printing the console which is there inside a arrow function. Now here, without using function keyword, we can also create a function definition. Hope you people understood what is arrow. Suppose if may I use same two classes names and two ID names in a tag, sir? Is it works? No. See, two class names you can use it, but two ID names you cannot use it. Adinaran Reddy. So member functions is another synonym of a method which is there inside object. What is the use of ASCII values? Guys, computer understands only binary digits, zeros and ones. So, but we are not writing binary code. We are writing plain English like statements. Internally, computer would like to convert human readable code into a machine readable format. These ASCII code values are going to help us a lot for a computer. That is where ASCII values have been used. Data science. I don't know what is that name, data science. Kindly change your name, my dear friend. Calling, what is the difference between calling, invoking, and triggering? Guys, this is all synonyms, my dear friends. Okay, no issues. You please try to keep the same name, my dear friend. I don't mind. What is IIFE, IIFA? IIFE, immediate invocation function expression. Immediate invocation function annotation. One tag, same class, and ID is working or not, sir? Can you please show one example if it is possible? See, since Adinaran Reddy is asking, let me go for about.html. See, Adinaran Reddy, you can see for one element, you can also add class A space class B space class C. We can also add it. Multiple classes we can add. And similarly, you can't even add, see for example, X space Y. This multiple IDs, you cannot add it. This syntax is wrong, Adinaran Reddy. Did you understand now at least? Someone is asking, is lambda expressions function arrow functions is same as lambda functions in Java? Yes, of course, both of them are same. What is class in JavaScript? Wait for some more time. I'm going to explain about object-oriented JavaScript also. Then you will get to know what is class in JavaScript. Can we generate dynamic HTML elements? If we can, how? Yes, we can develop. And so in order to generate dynamic HTML, we have to go for either DOM manipulation methods, or we also use string JavaScript string manipulation. But I'll try to explain upcoming sessions. Yes, it is supported recursive in factorial methods. Yes, Tilak Raj, I'll try to explain DOM object. Yes, can anonymous function assigned to be a variable? Yes, you have to assign that to a variable, then only you will be able to use it. Or you can also call anonymous function as a callback functions. Sublime app, Sublime text is a editor which can be used to build HTML, CSS, and JavaScript based applications. Sir, please give some assignments work and please provide a link for Drive where we can upload that assignments. Sir, Team XLR, can you please, share that, Drive link for them to upload the assignments? All the best, Prashant Haripilli. Since you got placed in software developer in GenQ, please try to take this session as so serious and it will be definitely useful for you when you are working. And also, I would request all of you people, kindly give a ratings about my session. In case if you people are facing any difficulties or any confusions or any problems with my session, and kindly please give us the ratings in this chat itself. So I would like request genuine feedback from all of you guys, so that based upon your feedback, we will also prepare well and we will try to give you a quality of a training. Our major intention is everybody has to understand the concepts very well. Okay, so thank you so much for your comments. It means a lot to me, and I would request all of you to participate on every day and kindly make use of my knowledge. And if my knowledge is helpful for all of you, sure, I will definitely help give you a good knowledge for all of you guys. Thank you so much for your participation. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.
లైవ్ సెషన్ డైలీ ఉంటుంది.